This is Flair from Gaming Embers, and you're listening to the Escape Pod cast, recorded live in front of a studio audience. Enjoy the show.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. But with both having decades of hosting experience under their belt, the one thing we are sure of is you will be entertained. This is the Escape Pod cast, a weekly look into the mobile game Star Wars: Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the Nerdy Network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod cast.
The title update dropped this week.
Yeah, with quality of life features like mod rerolling.
And better mod management.
Don't forget the mod challenges changes as well.
No, we can't forget those. We talk about our experiences with these changes.
There's also some information in the data mine on how Jabba is going to be played.
You do love to try and read into these things, don't you?
I mean, of course I do. How else are we supposed to speculate and fill the time?
Our guest this week is someone you have wanted on for the past year.
Oh, please tell me you got Jim Cummings, the voice of Hondo Onaka.
No, I got you RamBam.
Oh, well, I have been wanting to have him on since the Mace rework, so I'll take that too.
Good, good. We have the latest episode of Dickie and the Noob.
Of course we do, and Patreon's choice on the bridge.
All this and breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod cast.
The Escape Pod cast news.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Escape Pod cast. I'm your host, the Nev, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosting hetero life partner, Paul Anthony. Did I make you laugh then, mate? Did I?
You did this time. Definitely made me laugh.
I made you laugh.
So it has been, we did a show last Saturday, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about now because of title update, datamine. It's a
lot of stuff going on.
It's a lot of stuff. Exactly. We have reached out to Talia to kind of get numbers because you're wondering. And
yeah, I am. I'm very curious.
And unfortunately, Taliana is a little bit swamped at the moment.
Yeah.
But if we do get some information, we will pass it along. For those who don't know, Taliana is the 50 Shards of Cam server entrepreneur and also the resident data number cruncher of our show in a way.
If you've ever watched the movie Moneyball, the actor that plays the stacks, that's Taliana. That's her character, knowing all of the stats for everything. That's what she does. Mm-hmm.
So it's a crazy world out there right now, and we're just trying to make sense of it. Do we have stickers? Dark Nar, we do have stickers. We'll talk to you after the show on that one. Actually, I think that there is the link. Nope, I'll have to find it later on.
You guys got to step it up. Bones has it over on his stream. The stickers are the place to be, man.
Oh, okay.
All right.
To each their own. To each their own. Yeah.
So, where would you want to start?
Well, you start on with whatever you want, and I'll just draw a bead on you.
Do you want to go with the mods? Do you want to go with the data mine?
You could go with the mods. Go with what's actually happened, I suppose. Yeah. Go with what's actually occurred as a result of the update. So yeah, Let's jump into the mods.
So we did get, I'll pull up the title update and we can talk all about that. But we can reroll mods now. There's a better economy in a way.
Not really, no. I mean, it's not. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, having seen these for a couple of days, I think that they're. I think they're. I'm not quite liking the ethics of the mod slicing thing, simply because the resources to do all of this slicing are in the store. So if you've got a big wallet, you can just keep buying crystals and chests of crystals, and these packs can continuously bought.
We knew that was going to happen, though. We called that.
But the thing is that it's quite bad. You take your 6E, right? You take your 6A, and you think to yourself, well, defense has rolled one too many times. I'd really like that roll on speed. So you spend the resources and you try it, and then it rolls it straight back onto the stat that you wanted to roll, and then the next one costs you a little bit more.
And you could only do it 6 times.
And you can, yes, exactly. So think how many mods are in the rosters of the whales and the krakens. And it's 6 mods per character, so it's 36 per character, right? Hundreds of characters. That's thousands of that. So the mind boggles and you might not necessarily hit it. So you could spend thousands of crystals on a character set of mods, use up all those rerolls, and not barely get what it is you want, but you've spent potentially, $50 to $100. I'd love to sit down and do the math on it and work it out. But yeah, 6 chances, and it can just keep. It wigs me. It does. It wigs me out. I mean, if they'd made it so that it was guaranteed to be on one of the other 3 stats, not what, then I'd be a little bit more. I'd be a little bit more content with something like that, but making it so that you could waste resources and waste crystals on something that doesn't change at all. That's what. Don't get me wrong; it's permanent. I like anything that you spend crystals on, you should be able to keep permanently, and mods are a solid way of doing that. But
so you just came around. If I hear correctly, am I right, Bob? Sounds like he's okay with it.
I'm not okay with it. I think
so.
I'm not okay with it. If they made a couple of tweaks here and there, I'd be okay with it. But
what tweaks are you wanting to?
Like I said, the odds, reducing the odds and guaranteeing that the stat move is onto something else already on it. So if you've got 4 stats, you want to reslice the roll that went on defense. It goes on one of the other 3 stats, not roll straight back onto the same stat that you're not interested in increasing.
I don't like that it's a random stat. I wish you could find a really crappy mod that might have 7% offense on it, and that's all that's good as far as the secondary. And I wish you could take that mod, pick that secondary, and choose to have it replace a crappy secondary on a good mod. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Remove the RNG. If I've got a mod that's got 5 speed, but it's got 150 flat offense, and it's got 2% offense, and then it's got 3 rolls on tenacity or potency, or it doesn't matter. I want to roll those 3 slices onto one of the other 3 stats, and I would happily pay. Because it'd be like, I could throw, let's put it all on speed, or maybe increase that flat. There are choices, there are options. People that are trying to get those 10% tenacity stats for someone like Malik or Wampa or Nest. Being able to tweak all of them. Yeah, the RNG should be removed. it should be a choice. And, like they give like when you're re-rolling a Datacron, they give you 3 options. Well, that's what it should be. You're taking it off one stat, and it should bring up the 3. Which one do you want to put it on? It's then your currency. You choose it.
Okay, but then you don't get the good rolls that you have if you're going to be re-rolling it. You can have something that did really, really good in tenacity.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I really don't want tenacity on this mod. I want speed. And re-roll that tenacity, that 5-hit tenacity, to then hopefully get speed.
But you're not guaranteed to get speed.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not and that's what I'm saying. You remove the RNG so that you can get guaranteed to put it on it.
No, let them suffer. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Well, no,
if you want to blow your paycheck on re-rolling mods, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Congratulations, you've got defense now.
Well, no, because they do that with Datacons. When you re-roll something, so you're re-slicing your Datacon to do something different, you get to choose. It presents you with 3 options, and you get to choose which one it is. And if you don't like any of those, you can leave it as it is and do another re-roll and see what the options are, again. But you get to choose. You buy the materials, and you take them to the Datacron store and you roll, you get as many re-roll materials as you want, and then you choose what it is. So I don't understand why they don't remove the RNG and do that with mods, so you can choose. It's this or this. And once you put it on, you can't change that again. It's because like you said, you get a limited.
But
number
then you
of
get
rolls.
a perfect mod because there's only 3 other things that it could have been, or 4.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah, but that makes it worth it makes worth grinding for them, because a free-to-play account would probably have to grind for weeks just to do one set of characters mods.
For now.
Whereas dolphins and whales and krakens, dolphins might buy a pack, to boost one character. Whales and krakens might buy enough packs to do, an entire squad. That makes varying degrees. Free to play, we'll do it and we'll appreciate it, but we've got to grind for it. And then the people that pay, it depends how many packs they buy in order to, do how many characters they want. It keeps every single person happy. Like literally, it would keep everybody happy. But again, they introduce it like this, and as when they introduced Datacrons, we had people in the community, players had issues with it. Right off the bat, and I'm just expressing issues regarding this update, regarding this title update, and how they've introduced this change.
I'm sorry, I'm a dolphin, and re-rolling mods, I could give 2 rips. I'll take it as I can get it. I'm not gonna worry myself about it, but sure, I'll put some thought into what I'm re-rolling. If I see that I have something that has perfect stats, it hit the top every single one, then yeah, I'm probably going to want to try to re-roll it to speed. But I'm not going to sit there going, okay, I want offense percent, defense percent, and speed on every single mod. No, I'm not going to sit there and do that. And you only get 6 chances to do it, and it costs 10 times what it did the first one in order to do it for the 6th time?
Yeah.
Just the attempt itself?
Yeah. That again, that's another thing that's wrong, No,
it's
a good
not.
system, but
if you want to be greedy, then you pay. If you want to be greedy, then you're going to pay.
But this totally screws everything up. Because the people with it's Datacrons all over again. They will just buy, stacks and stacks of crystals and just keep buying those resource packs over and over again so that they can do every single one of the mods that are in their roster. And, people who are dolphins and free to play, they're just, a handful of mods here and there, and sometimes you don't get it. I mean, the free material I got, I did a roll from defense, hoping it'd go to speed, and it went straight back onto defense at a lower rating. So it was like,
it wouldn't have gone. Really? It wouldn't have gone to a lower rating.
Yeah,
it's the exact same stat.
No, it's not the exact same. It's it can be the same, or it can be slightly less or slightly higher. We're talking fractions of a percent here. We're not talking huge amounts. We're just talking. It's like with ballot. There's a plus or minus. You know, like when you roll speed. When you roll speed, you can roll a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. Right?
Okay.
When speed. So you've got 4. So there are every single increase. There's 4 grades. So every time you slice, the RNG is either going to do it at setting 1, 2, 3, or 4.
It's not so when redoing that. All right, mod recalibration. Okay. Mod recalibration begins by choosing a secondary stat on a mod. The stat you choose will have one of its slices removed at random, and then a new slice will be applied to one of the 4 available secondary stats on the mod, and a few things to keep in mind. Generally, you'll want to choose a stat that isn't providing as much value so that the other secondary stats have a chance to grow in power. You can't choose a secondary stat that has only 1 slice on it. Conversely, a stat with 5 slices on it can never be chosen to receive the newly calibrated slice. Use this info to help you target where your calibrated slice will land. So you're going for the 4s. Before you get to 6A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, when a newly calibrated slice is applied, its power will be randomly rolled. Once a mod is calibrated, you'll have the option to keep the newly calibrated mod or revert to the old version before calibration. Reverting to the old version will not refund your currency or calibration attempts. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You get to keep it. Calibration does not allow a mod to be stronger or weaker than the one you can get through normal slicing. Calibration does not allow you to change the secondary stat types on a mod. It is still important to farm mods to get the perfect set of secondary stat combinations. So, I mean, it comes down to the fact that if you're free to play, this isn't for you. And I've said this before, Neil. Not everything is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is something that you're not... You've chosen to stop playing Galactic Challenges. I've chosen to stop giving 2 craps about Conquest.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't for you. Just like Datacrons are not for you, even though it's hurting your favorite game mode.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It's not aimed at me. I mean, the slicing, the variations in the mod slicing. When they brought out the 6E to 6A, that was great. I mean, don't get me. You're always going to get the mod depression. That's why do you think Ranger does it? That's great. And I think that introducing ways to upgrade are brilliant. I mean, you don't see me saying boo about the packs available to whales and krakens and dolphins regarding just the regular slice material. No, I have to grind for it. I'm free to play. I get that I have to grind for that, and I get that whales and krakens can just go and buy all that material and do a full set of mods.
Yeah.
Whereas I have to pace myself and do them. But the way that those changes were introduced were pretty flawless. They were beneficial to everybody, and they didn't really have any bad quirks to them. I'm just being critical of this one in the ways that I'm saying. The RNG and the RNG and the cost. Because every time they introduce costs and stuff like that, they introduce it to the it can tweak an economy. you know, because it was about, you know, what was good. Sometimes people would roll, you know, they had the whales and the krakens with more money than sense might spend money rolling mods that they shouldn't really roll. You know, it's like, oh, well, maybe it'll go, maybe it'll roll this time, I'll spend it. It's like, no, don't do it, don't roll that mod. Oh, I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, damn, I've got 10% defense and my speed's at 5, but oh well, I'll move on. You know, so there are mods and krakens that are probably going to have boatloads of those types of mods in their inventory that they just don't use. But you know, with a system like this, they can, you know, tweak it. And I actually think that they should, by removing the RNG, it gives whales and krakens a bigger advantage. So it's not
then why
it's not about
you just got done saying that it's bad because they can do this, and you're saying that removing the RNG gives them more power, but you just got done saying
but
that.
No, it's the deceptive way that they put these things out.
What
Let's
deceptive way? We knew about this.
The deceptive, the manipulative way.
It's a game. It's made to make money, though.
I know, and that's fine. These are just.
Of course, I'm being the CG
the rollout of this stuff,
and of course I'm being the CG shill because I'm saying that a company is allowed to make money.
Mm-hmm.
What is the AI smiling about? What's going on, Bob?
I don't know. It's just mods and calibration. It's just more crap that's layered on top of the crap that's already been layered on us.
More layers of complication. Yeah.
Yeah. At this point,
definitely, I'll agree with you there.
At this point, nothing surprises me. Nothing really gets me down. Like you say, Paul, I'll just do what I can free to play wise, but I also agree with Nev and all his ways he went. But it's not anything that bothers me or anything. I just am going to do what I can. It's kind of confusing still, even though we've went over it, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because the devs in the video said that you can make the perfect mod doing this. That's what they said, but you can't really. You have a chance.
You can't always.
You have a chance.
You have a chance. You can make the perfect mod. I could walk outside and get hit by a bus tomorrow. It's probably not going to happen, but you can get a perfect day where you find out that I got hit by a bus.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a cool idea. It's just not as cool as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, I thought I was going to be able to pick a crappy mod with a good secondary and take that and put it on a good mod. And that's not what we got, so I don't really care here. But either way,
that would be cool. That I kind of agree with what you're saying as far as what you'd like to do. I think it would be really cool to combine a mod. You lose a mod doing it, but you can
like merging stats from mods. Something like that could be cool. Something like that would be interesting. But then it's like which ones get, which stats get merged,
Welcome to RNG.
Which stats get merged?
Welcome to RNG. Then you're going to be then you're going to be sitting there complaining that it merged the defense and not the speed. But you know what? You get to pick the primary stat that stays, but the two combine for one. Mm-hmm. And you can redo it. That way you can really get this, Bones. You really can get the perfect mod.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be RNG still, but I think that would be more of a fun system than what they've given us. But I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just there. It's another thing that I have to worry about working on eventually.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to get my my Darth Revan to maximums, but I'm having a nightmare doing it.
Jack Daniels says you can also make your mods worse. They didn't mention that. You can make your mods worse if you're not paying attention. If you're if you're recalibrating your mods while drunk, that's on you for not realizing 4 is less than or is more than 3.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the buttons when you're playing with mods, or you could you could end up deleting your entire inventory of mods, which I watched Urza do once live on stream a couple of years ago. It was hilarious. He was so drunk, and he just deleted them all, and he's like, Urz, did you just delete all your mods? He's like, oh my god, it's brilliant. One of the best live on-air mistakes ever. It was so very funny and entertaining. He got them back.
You can also delete your account on accident too. So
you can now accidentally delete your account. It's very true.
On the subject, that's a good segue to what one of the other quality of lives, because obviously now we've done mods. One of the other quality of lives. It's only a little one, but I actually look at it and think of it as something potentially useful, especially for GAC and for territory wars, in that you can now retreat from battle at any time. You do not have to wait for your turn.
I did not see this. Where was that put?
So, like when you're in battle, you go to settings.
Yeah. So
that you can forfeit the match. You can now forfeit the match at any time.
Even when the enemy is taking turns.
Even when the enemy is taking their turn. So when you select when you select that, if you're selecting that when it's not your turn and your opponent's going, the match is still going on in the background. So if you throw a team in and your opponent's squad just starts running TM train on you, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my god, crap, I need to pull out. You could still do the hard exit, but if you've got like a good 20-30 seconds, you just tap on it, it's going to go in the background.
Where was this announced? I didn't see this announced.
I didn't either. I didn't see it announced either.
I'm pretty sure it's there. Yeah, it was announced. It's there.
Bob, look for where that was announced. It's on the forum post. RamBam says.
Forum post. Caps.
Okay. All right, I'll find it.
So
I'm on the title update. I mean, it's a small change. It's a small change, but it's a very, very useful change, because people have crashed. A lot of people just go for the hard exit. They're playing it on BlueStacks on their PC. They just go, boom, shut it down. Cloak, shut it down. But then by doing that, there's no way of knowing what's going to happen when you reboot your accounts. At least this way, you can forfeit in the middle of accounts. You can forfeit in the middle of an attack, and not inadvertently preload anything. So. I think it's a cracking little change. That one thing that I liked, in my opinion, added dynamic daily deals in store based on account progression.
Okay,
that's going to be used in a future release. Once again, catch-up mechanics work. Von Nader says if they don't kill you while you're quitting, that is also true. If from what I'm hearing. Because it's still going on in the background, as you said. But I mean, I guess the original ones, because it was your turn and you weren't doing anything, it was still going on in the background. So, I will.
What are the other QOLs from the title updates?
Well, I mean, let me look at the title update rollout. Let's see if that might have been where it's at. Oh, there it is at the very end. Edited. You may now forfeit a battle during an enemy's turn in all modes.
Yeah.
The other
obviously something like that's going to be vitally important in PvP situations.
Yeah. They also did, and this was one of the things that they said here. You didn't see it, Bones? It's in the title update rollout post, the one before it.
Gotcha. Okay.
This includes the mod economy changes will happen after the forced update. No more 4-dot mods in the last tier of mod challenges.
Yeah, and that tier 9 of the tier 9 for the mod. I was looking at those because obviously the mod battles that you can get slicing material, you can get extra slicing material.
That's the only ones that I ever do. I buy all my mods from the store.
Yeah. You get you, but I'm talking about the mod slicing materials. Yeah.
You can now finally get that last
So
little piece.
So you can go from 16. Yeah, I was a little bit. I mean, I think it's a bit cheeky making it an 18 instead of it being a 16. You know, I just think it's because you're not getting as much bang for your buck when it's 18. You know, X amount times 18 as opposed to X amount times 16. So I think they were a little bit cheap on.
Well,
they could have been a little bit cheaper on the.
It's always been dynamic in that row because the earlier ones were 12.
Yeah. And then when they
and then there was
more materials,
then there was
16.
16s. Yeah.
Because they've always added nodes and added stuff. Because I mean, there didn't used to be 8s and 9s. There used to be just 6s and 7s. You know.
Darknar keeps going on about purple gear increased drop rates. We know they're working on it. We've been told, and we hear you repeatedly. Yeah. We love you, Darknar. By the way, thank you to Cascade for the 100 bits. Dr. Feelgood, thank you for the 30th month. And he wanted to let us know it's National Play-Doh Day.
That's interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
New Jabba information coming up after the break right here on the Escape Pod cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or territory wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Patreon Leaderboard, brought to you by the Patreons of the Escape Podcast. Are you not a streamer and would like to be on the boards just like the competitors of GA Center, you know, the streamers that you love so much? Well, you can do that too, and we'll battle you all against each other if you go to patreon.com/theescapepod and sign up at the Kyber combatant level or higher and get yourself in on this mix. It's a lot of fun. I rejoined the Patreon leaderboard as well, so you guys can, you know, beat me up. Let's go check it out. Dr. JoJo goes 0-3. Banners, 29-51, 28 wins, 16 losses, 13 holds. Let's move along to Force Strong, who goes 1-2, 1,268 banners, 13 wins, 4 losses, 6 holds for Force Strong. Hot Sauce goes 1-2 as well, with a very, very small 1,039 banners, 9 wins, 13 losses, 11 holds. A lot of these numbers are down. And Sephiranus, 0-3. He gets 2,183 banners with 20 wins, 3 losses, and 3 holds. Checking out me, I also go 1-2 with 1,541, 13 up, 0 down, and 6 holds. Taking a look at the final board, Hot Sauce is your winner this season, undoubtedly, with 11,552 banners and a 5-4 record. Force Strong goes 4-5 on the other hand, and Dr. JoJo and I are 3-6. Of course, his 10,000 banners beats my 5,000 banners, so I'm in 4th place. And Sephiranus at 2-7, but we know that's going to change next season, or this season, if you will. And we'd love to have you on the boards, too. So once again, patreon.com/theescapepod at the Kyber Combat level or higher, and we'll get you on these boards as well. Sign up for this week is by next Monday, or sign up for this month is by next Monday, but we'll always get you in as soon as we can. let's get back to the show. Be nice to each other, damn it.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
You're listening to the Escape Pod Cast.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We had a good chat off between the panes then, talking about GAC and stuff like that.
We're going to get back into it. I mean, the listeners are going to be able to get information on that. But let's talk new information on Jabba.
Okay.
Supposedly. There is a new type of character unit called a large unit. This says Jabba. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, definitely sounds like it's Jabba. It does sound like it's Jabba.
Okay. There are errors that have been data mined that say you cannot have an ally and a large unit at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jabba's taking up the ally slot. He's taking up 2 slots. He'll take up one, the 5th slot, I'm guessing.
Yes,
and,
yeah,
and
he
the
will.
ally
He'll
slot.
take up. Yeah, he will. So that he can fit on the screen.
Von Ader says they said it in the video. I didn't see that. I must have missed that part. It didn't stand out to me in that. But so not being able to have a large unit and an ally at the same time, that means ARC Trooper. You won't be able to use ARC Trooper. You won't be able to use Geonosians. You know,
I think it's just talking about allies when you're borrowing them from a friend.
Well, yes and no in this case, because what it says in the kits for ARC Trooper. Let me pull it up here.
So you're saying I can't use ARC Trooper with Jabba now? Damn.
No, because because the ally slot is taken up.
Yeah,
I'm just saying ARC Trooper and Jabba probably are going to synergize.
They're probably not going to synergize, but I mean, if you're having to kitchen sink something, this may come in handy. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So, ARC Trooper's blaster turret. This object can be targeted as immune to damage. Okay. Summoned object. This object's stats scale with the summoner's stats. The object can only be summoned to the ally slot if it's available. So
yeah,
if we get, say Hondo comes to the game. If we get the ability to summon Melchi, we wouldn't be able to use Hondo and Jabba at the same time.
Okay, I see.
So having the summoning abilities. So this may become problematic. What if we get a Cad Bane based on Clone Wars, where he's got Toto as a summoned unit?
Okay.
It just is it's just a piece of food for thought that you will not be able to use these types of things. Now,
well, yeah, but would those things have been any use anyway? I mean, why would you put Geo? You wouldn't put Geos or the ARC Trooper with Jabba anyway. So it's kind of like it's saying it's bad for summon, despite the fact that most of, in fact, all of the summoned units that create something there
at this time.
It doesn't, at this, throughout, nothing exists that would cause an issue with this because you wouldn't use any of those characters with Jabba. So, yeah.
Yeah, it just really comes down to the fact that this might be something that we're looking out for. This is the first time that they are putting out a large unit. What other large units are we going to get in the game other than Randy Johnson? No, that's the big unit. I'm sorry.
I'll send you a DM of one that might be incoming.
If I will not look at your large unit that you send me in a DM.
All right.
Well, how about that Jedi Master, voiced by an Englishman that was from Rebels that kind of like talked to Kanan and Ezra. That great big man. I forget the Jedi's name.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh.
I forget the Jedi's name, which is a bit annoying because
I think he's too big for that. Anyway,
you think he'd be too big?
I think he would be way too big for that. Anyway, Zaz says Mama Wampa.
Mama Wampa. What? How about one arm Wampa? How about the Wampa? That Luke tussled with.
Yeah, because we have the baby. That is a baby Wampa.
Yeah.
Comparatively the size, that is a baby Wampa that we use in the game.
But yeah. So Jabba's tail's in the way, sort of thing. So yeah, you'll have to come up with something different. I don't think it's going to be an issue anyway. They'll come up with interesting.
Bendu, thank you.
That's it. Yes, Dr. Feelgood, thank you. Yeah. So he would. I'm just trying to think of large, large beings the size of.
You're doing your very, very best to not say the word large unit, aren't you? Because Salacious Dumb is going to use these words.
Yeah. No, I just think I just think that it's if they're going to do large, if they're going to bring in large units, they could make it interesting and take some of the monsters from the original holotable game from Star Wars.
Oh yes,
I think something like that would be fun. I mean, it's Galaxy of Heroes. It's a holotable game, and it's like, where are the original characters from the original holotable? Could for nostalgic reasons, they're part of canon because they're in the actual game. They're in the original game. Just take all of those pieces, make them into large units that we can plug and play and have some fun with.
Yeah, you'd have the Mantelian Savrip.
Yeah,
Grimtosh the Molator.
They're all large monsters. They're all large, so they'd all take up, occupy the fifth spot and the ally slot. You could make it, or Boba riding his Rancor. I mean, that would work.
Boba riding the Rancor, yes.
Boba riding the Rancor would be a really, really good double unit because that's what it effectively is. It's a double unit. Because the ally slot can't be occupied, so I would definitely be down with more. What are they calling it? A large unit?
Large unit, yes.
Yeah, I'm down with large units. I'm down with large units. Large units are A-OK.
There you go, guys.
Nice.
All right. What is, you guys had a great banter going there during the break, and you also had mentioned this. You're getting to the point where you wrote an article. I'll put it this way: you wrote an article on goingnerdy.com about how Galactic Challenges failed. How Conquest failed.
Yeah. How Conquest started off great, problems were created, and then the solution that was provided wasn't the solution that everybody was expecting.
And you put a very, very specific call out in there.
I put something very, very specific in that blog post from, way back when, because I think I did that blog post. It would have been around.
Let me quote it here.
Galactic Conquest. I don't know. It would have been 7 or 8 or 9, something along those lines.
I'm going to quote you.
Okay, yeah.
Keep your hands off my GAC.
Yeah, keep your hands off my GAC. Yeah.
And what have they done?
I was so worried that they would make changes that just wouldn't work. So, and that's it. They've made changes that just, it's taken the fun out of it for me. That's all. So yeah, I never thought GAC would in my eyes would not be fun. Even when all of the people were saying like, 3v3 sucks, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's good. It's just different mod strategy and different tactics and different this, that, and the other. Despite the fact, I wasn't as good at 3v3 as I was at 5v5, but I still thought it was fun. I still enjoyed it. Thought it was fun. And every iteration of it. I mean, I've been streaming GAC since the beginning of 2019. So, March 2019. I've been streaming GACs, and obviously it wasn't GAC back then; it was just GA. So yeah, I enjoy it. I've been there for every single iteration of GAC. So for Grand Arena, and that's what So I'm taking all of that journey and what it was like at the various different stages, and I'm just not having fun with it in its current incarnation. GAC 3.2 is not my bag, baby.
Jedi Rules, thank you very much for subscribing for your 5th month. He says, hey from San Diego. Also, I do want to give a quick shout out because I have a possible fix for you on this thought, Neil. Quick shout out to Al Bundy, who is studying to be a nurse, a high level nurse. Who passed their GI today with a 91. Al Bundy is a very, very, I know he scored the winning touchdown long ago, but he's a very, very good friend of the show. Congratulations to you, buddy. So, Neil, what if they said, okay, you guys, there are some of you that don't like Datacrons. Would you be okay with a reduced crystal payout if the last GAC that you played was under a no Datacron rule?
I don't think I'm gonna. I'm relatively certain I'm not gonna have fun with GAC as long as Datacrons exist. So I think that's it. I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not talking about right. That's it. I'm packing it in. I'm not gonna. I'm just never streaming. I'm just not streaming it. There's no fun. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to stream something that is not fun.
And there's really nothing else.
I don't stream challenges because I don't enjoy them. I don't stream Conquest because I don't enjoy that.
And there's really nothing else to
nobody
stream.
really streams Territory Wars. There's don't get me wrong, Territory, for obvious reasons, I still take Territory battles seriously because that's a serious guild thingy for cam shards and stuff like that. So I do try my best. I put my best effort in on Territory battles because that's an important guild thing. Territory Wars is casual, Territory battles not casual. It's supposed to be taken seriously, so yes. I do. And then obviously, sure, I enjoy Fleet Arena. Squad Arena is relevant because there's nothing in it, but Fleet Arena. And then I've been saying it for quite some time now. GAC is what GAC in the community is what keeps me slogging on. But it's like if I'm not going to have fun streaming it, what's the point?
Yeah, it really has killed. Datacrons really has killed the streaming presence of this game.
Oh God, yeah, no, it's bonkers how many people ain't streaming GAC. It's nuts. It's dropped off an absolute cliff. It's weird. But so people will look at their roster, they'll see a couple of GLs with level 9s, and they'll be like, this isn't gonna, I'm gonna get stuck on this, and my stream's gonna be over in like 20 minutes because there's nothing that I can do to get past this, Lord Vader with a level 9 Datacron, or as with previous sets of Datacrons for certain GLs. Because I think that things would have been smoother. I think the transition from set 3 to set 4 would have been smoother if they'd actually incorporated into the changes the primary concern that everybody had with Datacrons, which was, can you just point number 1, just take it off the GLs. No more Datacrons specified to do it like you did Omicrons, everything but GLs. Any character but a GL. And they didn't do that, and they came up with changes that most of the community. So for me, I don't think it's ever gonna pick up. I really, really don't. It just,
there has been a 33% drop in streamers, individual streamers, streaming Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, not to mention people that didn't stream but made Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content. We had End All Be All last week, and his theory crafting skills, are going to be sorely missed, like really, really missed, because his guides, he put out some really, really good guides for Conquest, in order to do the feats. So that's someone that the community's really, really going to miss. All the best to him and everything.
Yeah, even the amount of viewers on average last year has decreased by 25%. It's troubling. And Crumb promised a puzzle, right? At the end of the month?
If it comes, it's going to take more than I think it's going to take more than a puzzle to give people motivation.
I know,
to
but
play.
The puzzle brings the community. The puzzle usually brings the community together. The streaming the streaming goes up.
Puzzles do create they do create a uniting moment, because it's like that one time of the year, it's that one event where all communities come together, including like the ship posters and trolls from
Reddit. Yeah,
it's like the one time that they're going to be, they're going to behave themselves, moderately behave themselves, because it's like, I really want to, I want to see this thing get figured out. And they know that if they do their trollish shit posting things in the comment, that they'll just get kicked out and they won't be able to see the puzzle being, solved live. It really is one of those unifying moments in the SWGOH community. But we have no idea. They come randomly. Did anybody get any hints about the last one? As in when it was going to drop? I thought the last puzzle was kind of sudden.
Okay.
He likes it to be sudden. He doesn't like to drop hints, because then, it could get out sooner rather than on the day of the puzzle being released, that there's going to be a puzzle released, and people, if people knew about it in advance, they'd take time off work, so that they can.
I will gladly take time off work if I knew a puzzle was coming.
Exactly.
Definitely
if you
take
knew
time
a
off
puzzle
work.
was coming, you would take time off. Sig would take time. All the puzzle masters would book that day off in preparation for it, and that's why I think that's why he doesn't do tips or hints. It's just going to get dropped on some random day for
But I think he said in the road ahead that there is a puzzle coming.
It wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't be. It would depend. Here's the thing: the puzzle depends on what's being released, because we've had puzzles for characters and we've had puzzles for events. and depending on what it is, what day they do it on could be whether they're doing a character or whether they're doing a raid.
They did Malik on a Wednesday.
We got the puzzle for the Millennium Falcon. That wasn't just for the ship; it was for an actual Millennium Falcon event. Same thing for Chewie, the legendary event for Chewie.
Well, Malik was an event.
Yeah, Malik was an event as well. Yeah.
So
it could. So I mean, what was the lot? So the last puzzle. What was the payout for the last puzzle?
The last payout was Starkiller. So it was an event.
Okay. So it was an event. So
well, it was originally Dash Rendar. You kept going. You found Starkiller.
You found Starkiller, yeah. So it was Dash Rendar, and so it was like you dash, so you're going to get Dash, and the payout is going to be more characters, and you get Starkillers. So I'm just trying, yeah. So it literally it could be anything. It could just be a random character, or it could be for an event. So yeah, but there's no telling when it's going to be. So we're just going to have to wait because it will more than likely it'll be last minute. Because it always is.
We'll see. We'll have to see. I'm hoping we do get the puzzle by the end of the month, because we need it. We need something to lift our spirits. Because if I look at this right, we've got this week of GAC, we've got 19th through the 23rd of GAC, then we have the 26th through the 30th of the final week of 3v3 GAC.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be burnt out on 3v3. We need a pick-me-up.
Yeah.
So, Crumb, put it out. Okay, the last day of GAC would be what? The 3rd? October 3rd?
Something like that, yeah.
So, by October 3rd, we need something to lift our spirits of the 3v3.
Yeah.
By the way, Grundy says, I've lost 2 people in our guild and have 3 others that have messaged me saying how lackluster they are and may be leaving soon. Totally can understand that, Grundy. It is getting, for a recruiter, it's feast or famine right now. Either you get somebody and they're buddies of a guild that's breaking up, or you are trying to dredge to find people that will at least get their 600s. Where's Hellenix when you need him?
Yeah. God, yeah. You need Hellenix to whip them into shit. I mean, I'm in a guild. We've got 46 out of 50. In the last territory war, only 38 joined. So, we usually get 20 stars on territory battles, and we only got 17. It's like, the luster has gone, it has left the building.
And this comes in a time when territory war participation is the most important it's ever been.
Because of Relic 9.
Yeah.
So another thing to mention is that for our Twitch viewers that watch the live show, remember, you were giving away your Abernick. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah. I'm going to be giving away. It's an Ambernick RG 350. I'm going to be giving this away on the channel because I'm not using this. I now have this.
So on September 30th, that show, we will be giving away his Abernick. In order to do that, for those that end up leaving before the end of the show during Patreon's Choice, we're letting you know now, if you are a Patreon or if you are a sub to the channel, you get an entry. 1 entry each. If you're both a Patreon and a sub, you get 2 entries. And on the 30th, for anybody that donates 100 bits or more, they will get their one additional shot at getting the what do you call it? The handheld.
The handheld.
But there's also people that mention that they get a bunch of ads during the show when watching it live. Subscribing stops that. but we have to run 1 minute and 30 seconds worth of ads. I try to schedule them so they hit right at the bottom of the hour during our regular ad breaks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you are here right on time when it starts. So, I do try to make it so people don't see the ads, but it is it's a tricky process, but you can avoid it altogether if you are a sub. And this month you get a chance to win the handheld. Bob, what did we miss?
Nothing, man. You hit it right on the head. Everything.
Excellent.
And you looked up everything for me. So
I did look up everything for you.
It was an easy show. I appreciate it.
All right.
Paul, we paid for this ship upgrade. You know, can we please use it?
Like
Bob, pull up. It's not hard, you know. That's why he's got voice activated commands. So yeah.
But I'm also working at 50% all the time.
Yeah, because you're watching Droid Hub.
Yes.
I'm
drained.
All right. So coming up after this break, I finally get to talk to him. It's been 6 months since Mace has been made great again. Ladies and gentlemen, after the break, RamBam. After these messages right here on the Escape Pod cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all? With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars. Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards, including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Back to school. The Escape Pod, cast for kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Uncle Thad. I have never been more excited to present a storytime to you than I am today. For today, we are going to talk about the sexiest man in all of gaming, none other than S.B. Crumb. That's right, I am going to present the history of none other than the man himself, the dev behind it all, S.B. Crumb. And I am... Wait,
no,
hold on.
No, you have the wrong Crumb, Thad.
I'm being told I have the wrong S.B. Crumb. I guess that I will just have to talk about the less famous, less important, Salacious B. Crumb. Comedian, pet, and monkey lizard. So with that, I guess we'll talk about Jabba the Hutt's Clown Prince of Tatooine, S.B. Crumb. Salacious Bartholomew Crumb was a Kowakian monkey lizard from the planet Kuwak, an outer rim planet known for its thriving slave trade, vast oceans, and dense rainforest. Kuwak was a major part of the Zygerian slaver empire and had been known to house anywhere between 200 and 400,000 enslaved sentients at any given time. While Kowakian monkey lizards weren't exactly an enslaved species, they were typically kept as pets due to their humorous nature and comical appearance. And when they weren't roaming their native rainforest or playing jester to notorious crime bosses, some planets used to cook Kowakian monkey lizards and serve them alongside fried mole fleas and served atop a bed of diced melurun fruit. While little is known about how Salacious made it to Jabba's palace as his personal court jester, much is known about the Kowakian during his time of employ. To understand Crumb's role in Jabba's palace, you have to understand Jabba's sense of humor. To be a gangster on Jabba's stature takes no small amount of cunning, subtlety, and even restraint. Jabba had to rule with an iron fist at times, and sometimes he had to lead with a velvet glove. So when Jabba wanted to laugh, he wanted nothing to do with subtlety. His humor was blunt, obvious, and very, very physical. Tell a joke of wit, charm, and innuendo, and Jabba was likely to have you frozen in carbonite. Throw a pie at a dancer, making her accidentally trip into the Rancor pit, and Jabba would love you forever. It was this sort of lowbrow comedy that Salacious B. Crumb was known for. Now, most people don't know that Salacious B. Crumb was actually classically trained in the motley arts. Trained to juggle, tumble, and unicycle, Salacious B. Crumb was an exceptionally talented comedian and jester. He even had a partner at one time, a mole flea by the name of Lugubrious Moat. Moat was present with Crumb during a number of the important moments in the history of the galaxy. He saw how the jester would lighten the mood after a visit from a Sith Lord, or when Jabba received bad news. He was present during the fancy art exhibits, like when Jabba received a likeness of Han Solo in carbonite. Moat was quoted as having said, "Salacious was a natural performer, and he was blessed with a panoply of physical features suitable for a crowd-pleasing clown. Floppy ears, messy hair, wide and oh so hypnotic eyes, gangly limbs, clumsy movements, and an infectious cackle. But he didn't possess much of a brain between those oversized ears." Moat would go on to say that no matter how talented Salacious was, he grew lazy in his comedy, always going for a cheap laugh over a refined comedy. Eventually, the laziness left the monkey lizard unprepared for the events on Jabba's party barge, ultimately leading to his untimely and tragically unfunny death. And while it's unlikely that we are going to get Salacious B. Crumb or the sexier S.B. Crumb as a playable character in SWGOH, we do know that the cackling comedian will somehow be worked into Jabba's kit. The monkey lizard, not the dev, although an argument could be made for S.B. Crumb the dev to be a part of Jabba's kit. I think we'd all love to see that. Well, that's it for me, folks. Stay tuned next week for more story time with Uncle Thad on the Escape Podcast for Kids. Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Pod Cast.
Attention. We are receiving an incoming transmission. Attention. Attention. We are receiving an incoming transmission.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the show. This week's incoming transmission. Paul, get the introduction correct.
Oh, I absolutely will. Ladies and gentlemen, he has been a streamer about as long as we have, and he did the impossible. He strong-armed Capital Games into once again making Mace great again. He is also, Neil, on your side of the coin, the current champion, the current top of the leaderboard,
the current leader,
current leader of the Kyber 1 division of GA Center.
Yeah, Tassinix is the current champion
at a record of 13-5 so far. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, RamBam. How are you, buddy? The
Mace lover himself.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
At the end.
So, for those who don't know about, how long have you been playing? Let's go through the motions. So those who are not familiar with you get quickly familiar, and then I have a few questions, and then I'll turn you over to Neil. How long? Yeah, how long have you been playing? Do you spend any money on the game? Can Nev give you his nice shiny free to play card?
Oh God, that's never going to happen. No.
And what's your favorite part of the game?
All right, so I've been playing since August of 2017. I started playing a week after CLS came out. I had heard from some friends in Italy when I was stationed out there that there's a Star Wars game out, and unfortunately, I didn't hear about it until about a year and a half after it actually came out. So otherwise, I would have been a day one player. Definitely not a free to play player. You can keep that free to play card. I've had times where I don't spend, but there are definitely times I've toned it back down. 2018, 2019 was definitely my whaley years. But I'm not free at all.
Okay.
Favorite part of the game. It's a tie between 5v5 GAC, which I'm not really any good at. Apparently I am now, but for some reason I make all kinds of mistakes in there, and I just have fun on my streams and whatnot.
Recent activity would suggest it, yes.
Recent activity would suggest otherwise, absolutely. I really actually enjoy Conquest, though.
You've been getting your Conquest on?
Oh, yeah.
And red box every time?
Red box every time. Haven't missed one. I actually got the red box this one in 6 days.
Well, so you've successfully got the red box for every single conquest that's ever occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. No, just knowing exactly. So you've always had the character
day one unlock.
Day one unlock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had Malgus Relic 9 day one.
That's always gonna. So what relic levels were you taking them to?
7 usually. 7
That
usually.
does seem to be the placeholder for characters that get released. Most people seem to placeholder them as it gets placeholdered at 7, and then if it needs an increase for a GL, it gets increased. So
absolutely,
yeah.
No, Malgus was the only one I took straight up to 9 right off the bat, and I was like, well, the stat increases with tanks at Relic 9 and Malgus, and I was like, it's gonna be a game changer. So I took him up to Relic 9. I don't really regret it. He's pretty solid.
Was that something that you had to put a little cheddar into, or were you able to stockpile the resources to be able to take him straight to 9?
Honestly, I was able to stockpile most of it. I dropped probably $20 here and there or something, but for the most part, I was able to. Most of those resources was going into buying the actual Relic 9 mats, and even then, about half of those I farmed up just through Jabba Scavenger. I already had plenty of the TW version of Relic 9 mats. I just needed the Jawa Scavenger version, was it the keypads, I think it was. I just needed those, farm those up a little bit. And I mean, obviously the character's released over 3 months, so had a little bit of time to
So you
farm it.
you also use Conquest to farm for those all important missing bits to be
Well, because I get the pass, either the 10. I have done.
I was gonna say, do you get the battle passes?
Yeah, you pay for the pass.
I always do the 10 at minimum. I always do the 10, but there's been times where I've done the when Conquest first started, I did the 30 just to kind of speed it up, and then when Datacrons got released, I did the 30 again. But then I realized there's especially with this change with the 2 months of farming Datacrons, there's no need to do the 30 in my opinion, at least for me. So I just do the 10 and call it a day. But that saves me on having to buy the character shards out of the Jawa scavenger in Conquest, which means now I can put all those resources towards gear, impulse detectors, things like that.
Okay.
All right. Now, well, it was March, March of this year. You were invited onto Heinz's stream. Crumb was there. You guys were having some fun, and you got to ask Crumb. Essentially, everybody knows that my final question for Crumb and any CG employee that we have on is, where's Hondo? Your final question was always what?
Mace Windu rework. Where's it at?
And you got to experience it being revealed to you, which is wonderful. I mean, I want to know, what did you have any inkling going into this stream that it was going to be that?
You know, I had a thought going into it. So I don't ever consider myself being a top tier streamer, right? I do it. I have fun. I enjoy myself. We have a good community. The battalion is an amazing community. And so I don't consider myself to be one of the top tier guys along the lines of Zareth, Grid, Cubs, Arnold, obviously, you know, things like that. And so when Heinz reached out to me, and I have a good working relationship with Heinz and Grid, when they reached out to me, they're like, hey, we want to have you on the Grid Z, and, you know, you're going to help us interview Crumb and DojaFed. And I was like, that's 2 developers. Something big's going to happen. And so I immediately messaged out to my group chat with the Battalion 5, Ricky P, Mort, all them. Messaged out. I'm like, yo, this could be a thing. We could get a Mace Windu rework. They're like, no, it's not gonna happen. There's no way. You're just going on there to be a guest. Stop worrying about it. I'm like, you're probably right. I've been wishing for it for like 4 or 5 years at this point. It's not gonna happen. But maybe. What if it does happen? And I'm like, no, it's not gonna happen. And then sure enough, you know, it happened. And I'm like, told you.
What went through your mind when he said, RamBam, here's your Mace Windu rework? I specifically remember Crumb saying that. What did you have to, you know, change your pants after that?
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the video said it all. I broke down. Like, obviously, I was at first in shock and disbelief. I was like, no, you're messing with me, right? There's no way. And then, you know, it just slowly, the realization started to sink in. They're like, no, this is not a joke. It's legit. It's going to happen. And, you know, I obviously I cried a little bit, you know, I'm not ashamed of, I shed some man tears. I'm not ashamed of it. It was an amazing time. I was truly honored to after pushing for it for years and years and years. You know, Arnold had his rework Grievous thing, and there's been other people for Hondo and all this other stuff. I was always the voice of the forefront of the Mace Windu rework movement, and for CG to kind of, you know, pull Heinz inside and like, hey, look, we're gonna release this out, but you know, we also want to have RamBam on to reveal it to him, since he's been kind of like the pusher of it. Right. So that was a really, really good feeling. And then unfortunately Doja left later on. So sad to say.
Miss Doja.
What?
I do miss Doja.
Miss Doja.
Is now seeing it in action. Was it worth it? That's the best way to do it.
he is by far a much better character than he was prior to the rework. By far, hands down. He makes the Star Killer team better. He of course goes with JMK, JML. The Omicron's deadly in TW with to this day it's my only TW Omicron. He makes any light side team hit Shatterpoint, which is of course very deadly in TW. So hands down, he's better. There's still a couple things I think flavor text wise I would have liked to see in there. I would have loved to see an insta kill in Django. How often are you going to use Django against him? Never really, but it would have been nice, have that little flavor text.
Seeing Django on defense at any point on a bounty hunter team, you're going to pull in Mace though in that situation,
right? So that would have been nice to have. There were a couple bugs with him when they released him, as there is with usually any rework or whatever. There was a couple bugs with Shatterpoint not being able to target Shatterpoint instead of a taunting character like you should be able to. But I think those have been resolved, and he countered, or he helps. I shouldn't say counter. He helps counter Malgus because of his Shatterpoint ability, being able to reduce max health, max offense, and max defense. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing. Oh, he's definitely got some viability.
All right.
Is he one of the reasons why you're doing so well in GAC at the moment?
I would say, as much as I would love to credit him, I would say the reason why I'm doing well in GAC is because Datacrons. Let's just be honest.
Because
Datacrons are amazing.
For the last 6 weeks, it's an impressive record. Out of 18 rounds played, you've only lost 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing really, really, really well at the moment. I mean, there isn't even anybody in any of the other Kyber divisions with a record like that. So there's nobody in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 with a record that good. Every now and then, like with 5v5, we had a couple people that were, there or abouts, but they had a better division record because they were in a lower division. You're always in Division 1, hence being at the top of the table. So, talk us through some of the rounds and some of the weeks, because you've always had every single week, every single 6 weeks, it's been positive. All of the weeks have been 100% positive. Not obviously not 3-0s, but if you're
2-1, 3-0,
you're still hitting the 2-1. You're some of the best are getting. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Someone who we know to be extremely skilled at GAC, Calvin Awesome. He's had back-to-back 1 and 2s.
So, and he's 6-12 this season.
Yeah,
he has lost. He has lost 249 skill ranking, while RamBam has gone up 288 skill ranking.
So you're on it. So what is it? I mean, what has this strategy been with the data? You say that datacons are the primary reason why you're on such a good run. What is it that you're doing? Clearly, you're doing it right with datacrons that maybe other people should be. Other people that are falling by the wayside.
So I can go like super in depth with what I'm doing, but it comes down to there's several different factors. Number one, I got to be upfront. I started off I want to say I started off the last 3v3 season, not this one, but the last one, sub 3,000 ranking, right? So
yeah.
I started off with I actually got right on the borderline of going into Kyber 2, and I was able to climb out of it. So I was very far down the list, and obviously farther down the list, the less likely you're going to run into someone who cares or plays GAC competitively or whatever the case is. So that obviously was a factor. Datacrons had a huge component of that, and the reason why is because set 1, I went, I was still trying to understand Datacrons. Set 2, I went super hard into Datacrons. I invested, I think probably $50 or so into actual Datacrons. Farmed Conquest, and Conquest to me, I enjoy Conquest, but Conquest is also the key of it. I've been doing the 50 crystal refreshes every single day, farming Datacrons. After I push to get the red box, so I do the 50s and the 100s on Conquest to get to red box in about 6 days or so. And then the rest of the time, I do the 50 crystal refreshes on Datacron nodes only. And, you know, I get the mats and farm up the Datacrons that way. TW, we've got a good guild, so we get the Datacron mats from there. And then from that point, it's just building the inventory of Datacrons, looking for the set 3s, the set 6s, obviously set 9s. And I'd say out of the 5 rounds that I've lost, you know, you mentioned the 5 rounds I've lost over the past 2 seasons. 3 of them I was probably out Datacroned, and that's why I lost those. Is because Datacrons, what I've learned is Datacrons offset a bad modded roster. And we all know how my mods are not the greatest. They're not the worst, but they're not the greatest for a 9.5 mil account. So Datacrons have allowed me to use the fact that I don't have the greatest mods and kind of still compete with accounts that do have the greatest mods, but don't invest heavily in Datacrons. And so that's kind of been my semi-strategy, is just equalizing my Datacrons to my lack of mods and then kind of letting it balance out.
So you're beating accounts that, you know, so you're beating opponents with accounts that aren't that are better than yours, but they don't have the Datacrons and you do.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you're at 9 points, so you could face somebody at 10.5 or at 11.
Mm-hmm.
But if they haven't invested in Datacrons the way you have, the extra 1.5 minute, the extra kitchen sink,
mm-hmm.
you know, the extra that they would have in the kitchen sink is meaningless, because
mm-hmm.
they're not going to get through your front to use to get to the kitchen sink stuff that would potentially be on the back. Whereas before Datacrons, you could, you know, those accounts, because we you know, I maybe not at that extent, but we faced accounts that have, you know, 2 or 3 mil GP more than us, and we're looking at it and thinking, well, you know, I don't have enough to get through their defense, but they've got enough to double tap every single squad on every single one of your territories, and they can just cautiously, you know, you're kind of like banging your head against a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Datacrons removes the need for that, because like so you could have like, so what were you doing? Were you doing like your 2 or your 3 best Datacrons and putting them on the front 2 walls so that you didn't need to put anything on the back? What was your strategy for actually implementing their use, you know, putting them out there?
So number 1 was obviously always looking at your opponent's roster for 5v5. I 3v3. I despise 3v3. I despise GLs with Datacrons and 3v3. I despise Datacrons with GLs, period. But if you can't beat them, join them, right? So,
yeah.
You know, they're not going to remove Datacrons from GLs, unfortunately. So I might as well play them to my advantage. But for at least for 5v5, my track was to go in, look at the opponent's Datacrons. Does the opponent have the set 3s, the set 6s, the level 9s that I need him to have to be able to compete with mine? If he doesn't, then I would set probably about 3 to 4 GLs, depending on the type of roster and whatnot I'm going up against. Obviously, Ray and JMK Datacrons, those cannot be underestimated. Those set 1s are now gone, so we don't have to worry about those nasty Datacrons anymore. But I had some really good Datacrons for those 2 teams, and so those 2 usually win on defense. Lord Vader also went on defense with the cooldown reduction. And then I kind of give it up a choice between putting Slacker or JML on defense, something like that. And then I throw down DR. I would go very heavy on defense, but I would also understand that I still had a lot on offense because I had the Datacrons. I had the you know, 20 or so Datacrons that I had for plus 25% turn meter. I had the armor penetration for set 3, whatever the case was. So it allowed me to still use these teams, which is what I enjoy the idea about Datacrons. Mm-hmm. It allows you to take these lesser teams like Gas, for instance. Gas is not a lesser team by any means, but he's not a GL level. But with the right Datacron, the right modding and all that, you can take on a GL Ray with that Datacron set. So things like that allowed me to
even if that Ray has a Datacron as well.
Depending on what the Datacron was. If it was the super ult ray, the 75% hair to the Jedi per ally, it got very, very, very nasty. Fast ult ray obviously got very nasty as well, but as long as you could kind of time gas standing up, obviously nobody can die as long as he's standing up. So he would just take a seat, and then it just became a matter of how fast can you get gas to stand back up. But it obviously was done. Same thing with JML or JMK. You could take in JML, got very nasty, but you could take in JML. C worked, not for me. Surprise, surprise. I actually lost the C counter to JMK because they had Mace Windu on the team with 70% potency Datacron, and so
Mace Windu in that situation said, "Not yet."
Exactly. He ended up ability blocking my Sith Eternal every single turn to where I could not get the insta ult to yeet cat, and yeah.
So you are currently, and Nev has mentioned this a little bit. It's never been done since the new era of GAC. You have been atop this leaderboard for 3 weeks. Nobody else has done that. That is a huge accomplishment. And I wish we weren't running out of time here, but is there anything is it Datacrons that you attribute this to, or, would you like to do an Oscar speech where, you thank a bunch of people?
No, obviously Wolf, Ranger, guys like those, they hop into VC every now and then when I'm on stream, and they'll kind of point me in the right direction. So there are some certain people that give me good ideas. But honestly, it really just does come down to Datacrons. If you have the Datacrons and your opponent doesn't, you have a significant advantage. Datacrons, I know a lot of people don't like them. I don't like the current iteration of them, and I wish they would come off of GLs. But Datacrons are here to stay. You got to accept it. And I think with some improvement, I think Datacrons could be better. They are in the right direction compared to when they were at launch. So really just comes down to how
I'll put you on the spot because I'm going to do this with every single person that comes on. So one change, you can make one change to Datacrons right now. What is it?
No Datacrons on GLs.
No,
Next.
Okay.
I think everyone said
that. I'm just curious how many people I asked that to, because I do genuinely think 99 times out of 100 that's going to be the answer. If in fact, could we put a poll up? Can we do a poll in Patreon's choice poll regarding that?
We might be able to do that.
The problem that I had with that was just when they advertise these GLs, they advertise it as, okay, this is the top of the tier. And so when they brought out Datacrons, they put it on the top tier characters, which made no sense because
they said they weren't going to do regarding Omicrons. Remember?
Right. We're not going to put them on GLs. Right.
They go on everything but GLs because GLs are already powerful enough, and this is about powering up the lesser used characters. Now, and that's why that is the number one reason everyone says that's the change that they'd like to see off GLs. So
absolutely,
I'm going to ask that. I'll be curious to see what a poll would do on that.
RamBam, what do you got coming up this week?
Well, we've got 3v3, unfortunately. Yay.
And the crowd goes mild.
That's my new tagline for 3v3 season. Yay. Because nobody cares. I do the GAC streams on Saturdays for 3v3, and then Sunday nights for of course the Sunday night streams. And then I've been streaming a lot of Apex Legends lately on Saturday nights. So have a fun run of that.
All right. And
we have the battalion roundtable as well. I got to plug it because my man's Heinze. Got to plug it. The battalion roundtable in on the 22nd. So this coming Thursday, I want to say the 22nd, we're going to have the Aussie from Down Under, Heinze, on with hopefully the entire battalion. So it's going to be an amazing roundtable, and everything's for charity on that one.
Nice.
Excellent.
How do people find you, and how do people find this Battalion Roundtable?
Well, just go to any Twitch chat and type in Mace, because I'll like get a sense and like Spider-Man and just kind of pop in. But no, I mean, search RamBam001, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Discord. Join the Battalion Discord, and I mean, or really any big Discord, and I'm probably in there too. So.
All right. Well, Neil, any final questions?
No, let's get RamBam back to Mace. I'm sure he's missed him.
He's looking at me over his shoulder. I'm a little bit scared for my life right now. Coming up, the latest episode of Dickie and the Noob, and then Patreon's Choice. We've got some questions already, and looking forward to answering those right after these messages right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or territory wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Padawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off hosting the 2022 SWGOH, I present to you the lovable droid with a penchant for calamity, N00B, the Noob.
Thank you. It is good to be here, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the newest and most exciting exhibition of everyday skills, Tatooine's Got Talent. Now, there is no way that someone with a love of money and profiteering would want to miss this. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tatooine's Got Talent. I am your host and judge, Dickie Darkside. Tatooine's Got Talent is a show with simple rules, but big prizes. Basically, you just gotta prove to us that you're the biggest scoundrel in the galaxy, and you get to join us on our crew for the biggest heist ever conceived this side of the Outer Rim. So without further ado, let's get our first scoundrel out here. So we have our first contestant, and it says here his name is, what exactly is your name, sir?
I am Cornholio. My bunghole will speak now.
Alrighty then. Well, it says here your special skill is thievery. What is it that you steal, Mr. Bungholio?
I need TP for my bunghole.
Okay, so you steal TP. Do you have any other special skills that would be useful?
My bunghole, it speaks loud.
And how exactly is that useful?
You can take me, but you will never take my bunghole. For I am the great Cornholio. I have no bunghole.
Look, I know we said we're looking for the biggest scoundrels in the universe, but I meant the Star Wars universe. You're not even in the right IP.
The almighty Bongolio, Bongolio, the almighty Bongolio, Bongolio.
All right, that's enough with you. All right, let's get on to our next contestant. It says here it is Winnie the Pooh? What? I just said we're looking for the Star Wars universe.
Oh, bother. I just don't have a home anymore.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Now that you're part of the public domain, technically you can show up anywhere, like in that horror movie people are making with you. So you could just basically, people can do whatever they want with you. But why do you think you would be right for this crew? You don't seem very, I don't know, scoundrelly.
Yes, so no one has to pay for me anymore. Oh, bother. But Winnie would do anything for his honey. And with no money, gotta get that honey.
So you think you have the stomach for pulling off the biggest job the universe has ever seen?
Do I have the stomach for it? You don't know my stomach. And right now, I would gut Piglet for some honey. It's getting really desperate in here.
I'll be honest with you, Pooh Bear. Look, maybe we can find you some work in the Star Wars universe. You know, maybe a sitcom of Pooh Bear in the Ewok Village. Something like that, but I don't think this is the right thing for you. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to move on to the next one.
Listen, you twerp, I'll gut you for some honey right now.
Okay, security, get this guy off the stage. Who do we have next? It says here... Wait, Onaka? Seriously? Onaka?
Yeah, surprise, it's me.
Oh god, no. Rhonda, we told you to stay on the ship.
Yeah, you left me alone on that ship with that little freak Yarmo. Do you know what he does when you guys aren't around? Or even when you are around, noob, I see you going in there at night, so don't even try to pretend.
Noob just goes in there for his maintenance. I don't know what you're insinuating. Look, what Noob does on his own time and with whom he does it is his own business. What do you even care?
Look, all I know is that if you're having a talent contest, then Rhonda is your girl. I think I did it again. I made you believe that we're more than friends. Oh, baby.
No. Stop that right now.
It's Rhonda Slimo. Just deal with it, okay? Capiche?
And hey, would you look at that. Unfortunately, Rhonda, we're out of time for this episode, so you're going to have to go back to the ship now.
Oh no, Dankferric. Nobody backs Rhonda into a corner.
I need TP for my bunghole.
Oh, look, I can trade you some TP for some honey.
You can take me, but you will never take my bunghole.
Okay, you guys are even weirder than Yarmo.
All right, well, mercifully, this episode is over, folks. Thanks for sticking around this long, and we'll see you next time on Tatooine's Got Talent.
You're listening to the Escape Pod Cast.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's Patreon's choice time.
Bob's back where he
Question
belongs.
Yeah. Bob's back in the ship now.
All right. Let's start off with the ones that people paid their channel points for.
Okay.
Subtle Dagger 28 says, "What can we do as a player base to keep this community together? It's a great community, and we can't wait for CG to fix it." I mean, that's a bit of a philosophical.
The community is outside of CG. CG has no control over the community. I mean, yeah, sure, it's got a very, very tight leash on the emotions of some of the people in the community with their with their actions and their inactions. But the community will stay together as long as there's always cross-pollination between the sub communities, because you've got to remember that yes, we are one community, but there are sub communities within the SWGOH community. There are people that mainly hang out at the 69th precinct with AP Games. There are some people that just hang out with Arnold. There are some people that just hang out with the battalion. There are some people that just, there are communities that just hang out at RSG. As long as we keep the cross-pollination going between all of the various different communities with collabs and, visiting on which gets done anyway, that's one of the reasons why the community is so strong, because there's a bunch of content creators for each community, and they all chat and talk with each other and, cross-pollinate. So as long as that cross-pollination continues, the community will be fine. It will. It really will.
I say a puzzle. I say something that involves the community together. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a puzzle guy. I mean it. Stuff that can bring the community together to put forth effort to support each other is what will make a difference. All right, Sarlacc says, if you had the opportunity to completely redesign Datacrons, GLs aside, of course, from the ground up, how would you set it up?
I mean, that's easy for me. I wouldn't put them in. I wouldn't introduce them.
I really
wouldn't. I just trash them. I wouldn't bring them in. I would remove them 100%, refund everybody that spent anything on anything to do with Datacrons, refund the crystals. Yeah. Here's the thing. They've just done the mod thing. So if all of the whales and the krakens and the dolphins got a refund on all that Datacron stuff, they'd have a crystal hoard sufficiently large enough to be able to just go and buy all of the stuff needed to redo mods, and reslice the mods. But yeah, I wouldn't redo it, period. Datacron, I wouldn't introduce it. I like the competitiveness. Datacrons removes an element of competitiveness. So I would not introduce or reintroduce anything into GAC that causes that issue.
I would make two separate grand arenas that you can choose with or without Datacrons. Are you going to use your skill or are you going to use your wallet? Make your choice. All right, let's get to the ones that the Patreons have put in. Our good friend Salacious Dumb, by the way, who became a recent Patreon, says yes. They want to know, who would you make sweet love to? A glistening calamarian that just walked out of a very smelly ocean, or an irate Wookiee with 4 days of hair stubble after a forced shaving?
I'll go for the Mon Cal. I'll go with the Mon Cal.
Okay. Reason?
I don't need to give. You didn't ask for a reason. I just picked one. It would be the least disgusting. So there.
I don't know. I think I would go for the Wookiee. That's just me, though.
Wookiee, the Wookiee would kill you. The Mon Cal wouldn't. You just smell a fish with the Mon Cal. You could potentially die against the Wookiee.
That's what makes it fun. The next questions are from Zaz. Top 3 Bill Murray films.
Oh, Bill Murray.
I can name them right off the top of my head. Yeah. Ghostbusters, Scrooged, Groundhog Day.
Ghostbusters, Stripes, Groundhog Day.
Ooh, Stripes is also good, but no.
Come on, Stripes is just incredible.
Scrooged.
I can watch that. I can watch Stripes over and over and over again and never get bored with that movie. Oh yeah, no, Bones, he was excellent in Caddyshack. He was excellent but you got to remember that he was at his height. He was doing Saturday Night Live. That was at the height of the peak of his comedy. It's like Eddie Murphy when he was at the peak in the mid 80s. The Saturday Night Live was like really good back in the 80s, really, really good. 80s and 90s were their heyday. So, and Bill Murray was his peak. The 80s was definitely his peak.
Top 3 Clint Eastwood films.
Okay, top 3 Clint Eastwood films. So it's got to be A Fistful of Dollars.
Okay.
Which spawned ungodly numbers of remakes, but hey, that's not too bad. Yeah, that one. Magnum Force. Gotta love him as Dirty Harry. Absolutely love him as Dirty Harry. And I'm gonna say I really enjoyed $1 Million Baby. I thought he was great in that. So there's my 3.
All right. I would have to do Gran Torino. I mean, Space Cowboys.
Oh God!
Yes.
God no!
Oh
Can't
yes!
Believe you picked that. Can't believe you picked Space Cowboys.
And then Pink Cadillac.
Okay.
I like comedies. That's just me though.
Yeah.
All right. Next actor. Zaz put a bunch of actors here this time around. Go figure. It's what he does. Top 3 Henry Cavill films.
Films. Okay, so we can't cut because I would instantly go.
You can do whatever you can do whatever you want. That works.
I would. I mean, The Witch is TV. It's not a movie, but I think he's good in that. I also liked him in Mission Impossible. And obviously, Man of Steel.
I actually have to say I am not a fan of him, and therefore will abstain.
Okay, fine.
In this situation, I have to. Top 3 Will Smith films.
Well, I mean, Independence Day goes without saying. Independence Day.
Yep.
That goes without saying. I was supposed to be at a barbecue. I mean, come on, that's just an awesome line. Alien screws up your day, and you scream at it. I was supposed to be at a barbecue. It's just brilliant, And when it comes out of the ship, and he just punches, just welcome to Earth. And
welcome to Earth. Yeah, that's
he cracks open a cigar. I mean, Will Smith has done a lot of stinkers, but in his early career, when he was like so charismatic and enigmatic, he did some really good films, and that was definitely Independence Day was definitely his best. 6 Degrees of Separation, I thought that was a good one as well.
Okay.
It was definitely a movie that I enjoyed for sure. Apart from, I can't think of anything else that I would. I can't think of anything else that I would say. Yeah, that's a Will Smith that was really, really good. There's Ali started off all right, but for me it kind of like tailed off toward about halfway through the movie.
Okay.
Because I felt, I mean, he obviously studied Muhammad Ali's mannerisms and the way that he moved and stuff like that, but and I felt that the first half of the movie, it flowed really well, but I kind of got lost after the halfway mark. I was like, maybe the film was just too long. Sometimes they'll make a film that's too long, and you can kind of like that extra time gives the actor that's in the lead role, extra time and opportunity to kind of like throw spanners in there that makes you think, all right, you could have done a little bit better there.
Hancock, I Am Legend, Bad Boys, with an honorable mention.
Oh, yeah, no.
With an honorable mention to Wild Wild West.
No, not what. But Bad Boys definitely. I mean, yeah, he was that. Yeah, that was one of those really, really good popcorn action movies. That everybody's like, he's one of the good guys. There's the bad guys. Bad guys do something bad. Good guys come in and save the day. It was classic story, and it was done. Yeah, that was a good one, actually. Yeah, Bad Boys was a good one.
And last question from Zaz, Dolph Lundgren movies.
Oh, God. Well, Showdown in Little Tokyo, for starters. Absolutely. Showdown in Little Tokyo, for starters.
Okay.
There's some brilliant fight scenes, and it had Tia Carrera in it as well, and, like, she was so hot back then. Tia Carrera was so hot back then. So, yeah, Showdown in Little Tokyo. I'll go with Expendables 2, because there's this brilliant Dolph Lundgren scene in there where he goes through, physics and science to try and figure out how an escape, and they're like, how do you know all of this? And he's like, I've got PhDs in this and this, and they're like, oh really? And it's like that he actually literally has those. He has several PhDs.
Yes,
because he is a stupidly intelligent person. And then obviously the third film has to be Ivan Drago.
Rocky IV
has to be Ivan Drago and Rocky IV. Yeah, without a doubt.
Rocky IV, I have to also agree with that one 100%.
What normally happens with sequels by the time they hit the fourth movie is the movies just suck because it's the fourth sequel. So it's like, this is really gonna suck, Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. It's like, no, that's not gonna work. Nightmare on Elm Street 4. It's like, no, it's just not working. Lethal Weapon 4. Nope, it's not working. But Superman 4, not work. But Rocky 4. It's like, mwah, it was brilliant. If Rocky 4 hadn't done so well, we wouldn't have got
Rocky 5.
We wouldn't have got the 5. We wouldn't have got the 5, and we wouldn't have got the 6. It would have just died its death. It's like Rambo 3. It's like Rambo 3 breathed life back into it,
So we've got that. I'm going to have to also say Universal Soldier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, didn't think of that one. That was a good one.
And then his best role ever, Sharknado 5.
Oh God, did he do a cameo in that?
Yes, he did a cameo.
Did he get eaten by a shark or did he beat up a shark? Come on.
What?
Spoil it. I want to know. Did he eat it?
He got eaten.
Was he eaten or did he beat up a shark?
He got eaten.
Right. Okay. You see now that means that the next Sharknado movie they're gonna have to do a Chuck Norris cameo, just like they did a Chuck Norris cameo in the Expendables, where they're pinned down, everybody's having a nightmare, and then out of nowhere Chuck Norris comes, through the smoke, kills everything, blows everything up, destroys everything, and saves everyone's life, and then does a Chuck Norris joke. So, yeah, I want to see Chuck Norris in a Sharknado movie, beating up a shark or surfing one, in it while he's like, yeah, okay. What's the next question?
That is it.
Oh, is that it? Is it? Oh, we're good to go. Excellent.
Yep, that is it. So, what are you going to try to do some GAC?
I don't know. I'm just not, like I said before, I'm just not feeling it. I just am not feeling it.
Fine. Then what about playing some retro games?
I'm gonna see how easy it is to hook up the RG353P because it's got HDMI out on it. So I'm hoping that I'll definitely be able to play it through the capture card, and hopefully I'll be able to share that on the screen.
All right.
Like I do when I plugged in my HD camera into it. So hopefully it'll work.
And remember, if you can also do an HDMI input into the Xbox that I sent you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right. And over on Vault 37 Studios, we will see maybe some Diablo. Cowabunga Collection came out, and it was just as fun to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game again. So, it's going to be, that'll be a lot of fun. And then of course, remember, subscriptions on Twitch and, Patreon gets you a chance to win Nev's old handheld Abernick, and he will take good care of you when it comes to that Abernick. So.
Oh yes, I will.
All right. We really appreciate, guys. We are not kidding. The Abernick is just the icing on the cake. There is a huge reason you should be becoming a sub, especially because it's September on Twitch. Consider supporting the channel. Until then, we will see you guys next week. And be nice to each other, damn it. Neil?
Push the button.
What's going on?
Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.